Through the chaos of the Dissect That Film Discord, we are finally talking about a Hulk Hogan movie. The first ever Hulk Hogan movie, as today we're talking about 1989's No Holds Barred. Let's go.
Flip the switches to maximum amplification as Parker, Dan, and Angela prepare for their operation. With trivia and plot points scrawled across their walls, laughter and debate erupts as the movie's drama calls. The world may call them crazy, minds gone astray, but genius and passion and madness all dance the same way. Now the show begins to rise from its broadcast realm, and you can open your eyes as we dissect that film.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Dissect That Film Podcast, a podcast that dissects the good, the bad, and the ugly of cinema. I am your host, Brett Parker. Joining me is just one half of DNA Gaming. We have Angela. Hello, Angela.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'll survive.
We miss you, Dan. We miss you, Dan. And back with us, because he had to, is... oh, man, he is the host of many things. He is one of the hosts of Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies podcast. He is one of the hosts of B Action, where you put the B back in action. And he's also, are you one of the hosts of the Action Elite? Yeah. Like, you're a regular host over there? I feel like that never gets talked about enough. I mean, you mentioned it on your own show, but I figured I would shout that out. Are they?
No, appreciate it.
Yeah, it's was it an action? It's just it's another action podcast, right? That you guys talk about.
Well, so the Action Elite is my brother Owen. He runs the Action Elite website for all of new movie trailers, interviews. He just I can't remember the name of the director, but he just interviewed the director from Con Air.
Hell yeah!
I mean, he gets all of these new things. Articles every day, but we do what we call the Action Elite War Room, and every Wednesday we're on a break because it's his birthday and he's in Scotland right now because he's Scottish. So every Wednesday we live stream just random movie. We just decide what movie we're going to talk about, and it could be a Van Damme, it could be a Schwarzenegger, it could be a Thomas Ian Griffith, excessive force movie. I mean, it's just whatever we feel like covering. And we do that every Wednesday, as long as we're not taking a break, which we're on a break right now. And I also, not regularly, but usually every Sunday, I'm on my buddy J-Man's Days of High Adventure, where we jump into some movies. And it can be, we did Dick Tracy the other day. We're supposed to do the Zorro movies from the 90s coming up. So I'm a busy dude.
The Zorro movies from the 90s. What a memory. I love those. At least the the first one was fond memories of that. Yes. Oh, yes.
Even the widescreen edition.
Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Woo!
Baby.
Well, I appreciate that intro, but something's going on with my camera here. I don't know what's happening.
Oh, God. Where'd he go?
He disappeared.
It's all right. It's technical difficulties. I usually have music that I play during the technical difficulty drops because on my show, you've been on there. You know what it's like whenever the guys just get a little carried away. They don't know what.
We could play some wrestling music.
Could play some wrestling music, but Oh wait, I do have something here. Hold on. I think I got it fixed.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. What's he gonna look like now? Is he gonna be Hulk Hogan?
Oh no!
Yes.
We got Rip's here. He kicked Charlie out, and we got Rip in the house.
Let me tell you, brother, this is my first movie. This is the greatest movie that's ever been made. I'll tell you what, this is my movie. This is a movie about me, brother. I'm telling you that right now, brother. This is they call me Rip. Rip 'em. Trademark. Don't steal this. It's trademarked. I told him you weren't ready for this tonight, Parker. I've been sharing this picture everywhere.
Oh man, I'm so happy.
Jackie made me a Rip 'em shirt, everyone.
Hell
I
yeah.
have a Rip 'em shirt.
This
Rip
man
the
has a
sleeve
full
right
beard.
off.
This man has a full mustache and beard. He still is wearing that gorgeous blonde mustache.
This is that NWO version I went through, brother. This is just like back in the 2000s when it was NWO.
Oh God. So
Yes.
yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, I've actually been over on B Action to talk about 2 Hulk Hogan movies. They were actually part of the same series. We did oh God, was it Attack on Devil's Island and
Assault on Devil's Island
and Assault on Death Mountain, which was the sequel. And
sequel / we don't know. It's still got 27 titles to it.
Yes. Yeah. And I've mentioned the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of Hulk Hogan. I don't really care for him.
What?
Yeah. Sorry, Rip. He just never hit me. Even when I was a fan of wrestling, he was never one I cared for. I was watching wrestling kind of towards the end of his run. So I was more into Steve Austin and then The Rock was showing up, and my favorite was Kane. When Kane was in the red and black suit with the mask, and he had the whole backstory about how he couldn't talk because he had messed up vocal cords, and then the Undertaker was his brother at one point. That was my era of wrestling. It was WWF at the time. I remember playing the whatever game was out for N64, PS1. I was playing all those games, and then I just stopped. I just stopped watching wrestling. It wasn't even subtly I was not watching it anymore. It just ended. I just didn't care anymore. But I really find it so amazing how big wrestling is still. All these years later, it's still one of the biggest sports out there, or whatever you want to consider it. So the fact is we're talking about No Holds Barred, which is one of the first movie that WWF at the time decided to make. They wanted to put one of their big stars on the big screen to draw a bigger audience for WWF and to kind of see where they could go with this thing. And they're still making movies today. WWE is still making movies. Hulk Hogan's not much involved in those anymore, but he was the guy who kind of put WWE and Hollywood together kind of out there. And this was it. This was it. So Charlie, what is your history with No Holds Barred?
With No Holds Barred, so growing up, I didn't get to watch a whole lot of wrestling for some reason. My dad kind of liked it, but I think it was because Mom just hated it. It was just no wrestling. But every once in a while on Saturdays when cartoons would end, where I live, we got Smoky Mountain Wrestling, which is where a lot of the talent came from. For WWE, WCW, all those guys. So I've known about wrestling. I had cousins that were huge into wrestling. And so I watched this probably at about 12, 13 years old, which was the perfect time to watch this movie. This is a 12-year-old's action movie, sport. This is a 12-year-old's Rocky, basically, is what it boils down to. And then to be honest, I probably haven't watched this in 35 years. Today was the first time I watched it in that long, but I have always had fond memories of No Holds Barred. It, kind of burned an image in my brain. And yeah, this is my fault. We can, if you want, this is a great reason why, if you guys aren't in their Discord yet for Dissect That Film, you need to be, because he put it up to a vote for people to send suggestions in the Discord. And I just sent a Hulk Hogan gif And he's like, what Hulk Hogan movie? And I went, oh shit, he's taking it serious. No holds barred. I figure it's non-action because we're going to cover some on B action. And this is just, it'll be fun. It's never going to win. And then he spun the wheel. I didn't win. Believe it or not, this is not the winning movie from the Discord poll. But I threw a fit. I boo this man. I did every GIF I could find. And I forget the other dude's name that his
Jason.
Jason's movie won, but he went, oh shit, my movie sucks. Why did you guys pick that one? Go with Charlie.
No, he didn't say his movie sucked. He actually, no one knew what it was.
He said it was terrible. There's a quick thing where he goes, this movie's terrible. Don't watch this one. Do Charlie.
I was like, we will only cover this movie if Jason or Nerdtrovert says it is okay for us to do it. And so he gave the blessing, and now we are here covering this movie.
I can't do that. I gotta stop that.
We're here because I couldn't come up with a movie, and Parker's like, you want to do Wheelspin? And I was like, sure.
Yeah, for anyone who is wondering, hey, last week you said you guys were starting the Underworld series this week, and we were trying to work things out, long story short, and we couldn't. So I just went, hey, we never do a recording, just me and Angela. So why don't we do something? So I told her to pick a movie. She couldn't figure it out. So I just decided, hey, we'll just have the Discord pick movies and we'll spin a wheel. And then Charlie told, the results of that whole situation. And so here we are. And Charlie, of course, is trolling me because I don't like Hulk Hogan. So here we are talking about a Hulk Hogan movie on this show, and it's not B action.
On your podcast.
You guys aren't like hearing things. This is Dissect That Film, and we're talking about Hulk Hogan. So here we are.
And I said I would come on. I wasn't going to leave you hanging in the wind. Also, I knew if I didn't, you two were just going to shit on this movie for an hour and a half, and I could not let that happen.
Oh my
Not for
God.
our fans in the Discord.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, as Charlie said, we have created a really fun environment over on the Discord. So if you want to join that, great place, it's a lot of fun. We're having a great time over there. Just join. You just got to go over to the Dissect That Film Patreon. You don't have to buy into it. You don't have to put $1 or anything. Just join the free tier so that you can get the link to the Discord. That's all you got to do. You don't have to pay to be there. It's just the easiest way of us doing this. Because I don't want the Discord to be full of just random, just people who might either just cause chaos, like not good chaos. Like this was good chaos. This was fun chaos.
Okay.
I want some control in the Discord. So that's the best way of having some sort of control. Because we're having a lot of fun over there. But
it's always popping off.
I said, should I just pick a Hulk Hogan movie? And everybody's like, yeah.
To be honest, after this movie was done playing on Tubi, Suburban Commando popped up, and I was like, Shelley Duvall's in this movie? Christopher Lloyd's in this movie? All right. Yeah. I feel like that's the one that we'll cover when Dan's back. We'll cover another Hulk Hogan movie. It'll be Suburban Commando because I love Shelley Duvall. I love Christopher Lloyd. I don't like Hulk Hogan, but you know what? 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
That's the one like everyone remembers. Like almost every kid rented that movie, because it was family friendly. He wasn't the wrestler. NoHoldsBarred was always in the action section of the rental store, even though it's only PG-13. That, this movie isn't R-rated or anything like that. But but that's my history with it. I had a lot of fun. I'm repping it. We will rip them up today. But yeah.
Angela, do you have a history with this movie?
About 2 hours ago.
All right. That's about where I'm at because this is a movie where I'm like, did I watch this? Like, was this on like HBO or something? Maybe like over time, maybe I just like saw it on TV because I remember seeing the guy who plays Brel and I was like, okay, Ghostbusters 2. I remember him from that, and he played a piece of shit in that too.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, he's in Wayne's World.
TV producer in Wayne's World.
Yeah, he's very good. I did
not like him
at playing a slimy character. And the character he plays in this movie, which funny enough, this came out the same year as Ghostbusters 2.
Yep.
So he was probably doing both at the same time or pretty close. I mean, this movie probably didn't take very long to make. I don't.
Well, his role in Ghostbusters 2 isn't very big.
No.
I mean, so he probably could have knocked that one out in a week.
Yeah, that's
and then
true.
still got this one done in the 2 weeks that they probably took to film this
movie. Oh man, there's really not a whole bunch. Like, I don't own a Blu-ray or anything of this where I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff, so there's not a whole bunch that I was able to find, other than that I guess there was an original script sent in for this movie, and both Hogan and Vince McMahon didn't like it, so they literally spent like 72 hours straight in like a hotel room rewriting the entire thing.
And it shows. This is a story arc for wrestling done in a movie. Like, this could have been drawn out for like 3 months in a story arc, but they figured out how to do all that and in a movie.
It's something, and we're gonna talk about all of the somethings when we get into it. Yeah, I mean, I guess Kurt Fuller, who plays Brell, I guess he was asked to join like a podcast that either somebody who was part of WWE was trying to cook up for like people who were involved in things related to wrestling, and he just wanted nothing to do with it, or at least that's what I've read. He actually just declined, and he was like, I didn't do anything with wrestling after the movie, and I really didn't even care for the movie, period. So moving on.
That kind of sucks though, man, because I mean there's definitely fans of it, and it's like you were a main character. It'd be different if you were like in it for 5 minutes and thrown away.
It's one of those, yeah, it drives me nuts when actors do this. I understand if you had a really bad time making the movie.
That's different.
And like you were treated like shit, or like you just didn't get along with the director or whoever. If it was just a bad experience, I'd understand. I mean, is that the case? I don't know. I unless you talk to him, you talk to him.
Apparently, he doesn't want to talk about it.
Right. So it's not going to happen.
Find out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It still sucks to hear that stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, come on.
So, No Holds Barred was directed by Thomas J. Wright. He did a lot of TV. He didn't really do much for film. He directed a lot of episodes of The Twilight Zone, the 80s version of The Twilight Zone, The X-Files, Firefly, Millennium, Smallville, CSI, NCIS, Supernatural, which actually Kurt Fuller was in a few episodes of that show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. There's 15 seasons of that thing. I couldn't tell you what season it was.
He was Zachariah.
Oh, okay.
Angela.
And then Mark, and then the guy that played Randy was Lucifer.
That's right. And he was. I went to his page because this is what I do before I get we get on to record. I quickly go to IMDb and I'll click on every actor to be like, have we covered a movie this guy's been in, or that guy looks familiar? What has he been in? I recognized him from other things. The actor who plays Randy. What is his name again? Mark Pellegrino.
Mark Pellegrino.
I was like, this guy seems familiar. I've seen him in other things, probably in small bit parts. But then I saw that he was the voice actor and the mocap artist for the main villain in Far Cry 5, which is a great game. I love Far Cry. And it's like the Far Cry 5 is about like a cult. It's kind of like a Jim Jones situation where it's like a cult sets up this, compound in this little rural town in like the Midwest or whatever. And then you have to go and shut it all down. Well, he plays like the leader of the cult and he's really good in it. But like it's his voice and they don't make him look like him. So it was like I wasn't going to be, oh, it's that guy. He just seems familiar.
And if you've watched 13 Reasons Why, he's
I think Jackie may have seen it.
It was good.
So it was written by Dennis Hacken, but as we stated before, it was also written by Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon.
Yep.
It stars Hulk Hogan as Rip Thomas. I didn't know his last name was Thomas. Just heard Rip. Joan Severance as Samantha Moore. Kurt Fuller as Tom Brell. As I stated, we have talked about him before on the show because we did cover Ghostbusters 2. Tiny Lister as Zeus. I was so sad to find out that he had been dead for like 40 years now.
Yeah.
He died in 2020.
Yep. Right around the pandemic.
Yeah.
It was whenever
that sucks. We have talked about him briefly on the show when we did The Dark Knight. He was in that for like 3 minutes, but he was there.
Minutes.
But for
He's
anyone,
in Fifth Element.
he was in Friday. He's Debo.
Friday.
He's Debo.
Everybody got to know Debo.
Oh yeah, one of my favorite football players of all time was literally his nickname is Debo after his character from Friday. So yeah. Tiny Lister.
I love me some Tiny Lister.
Oh, he was
also
great.
He was a Unisol in the first Universal Soldier. He's like more or less one of the background Unisols in it. So you really got to kind of like catch him whenever you watch that movie. Like, no, there goes Debo.
Can't miss that eye.
Mark, the monocle.
Yeah. Mark Pellegrino is Randy. Bill Henderson is Charlie, who is the trainer. I literally just called him trainer throughout the movie because the only time I ever heard his name was when he got freaking dropped and they're like, Charlie!
Yeah.
Poor guy. Charles Levin as Ordman. David Paymer as Unger. We've talked about him before, actually just last season when we talked about Night of the Creeps. He played a scientist in that. I don't even think he had a name, but he was like the first victim of the slugs. Yeah,
he's a good character actor. He's another one of those where it's like, I've seen that guy in everything. It feels like.
Oh yeah, he's always just that guy. Mm-hmm. He's really bad at being a bad guy, but he's always with the bad guy. Like what's going on here, man?
Because they've tried to make him a good guy, and he's not a really good guy either.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, this was released June 2nd, 1989. Had a runtime of 93 minutes. Had a budget of $8 million, and it made $16 million in the U.S. So it made double its budget. So it wasn't a complete failure. No. But I guess the success of this movie would have expanded the NoHoldsBarred kind of universe. Because I guess if this had succeeded at the box office, there would have been an actual match between Hulk Hogan and Zeus.
Yeah.
In an actual WWF setting or a WWE setting. So
yeah, it was a pay-per-view that they were going to do.
Yeah. But
now Zeus did wrestle, I think it's like 3 matches.
Yeah.
Like during the promotion of this, but it was never.
Wasn't it like tag
Hogan
team or something like that?
It was tag team. He was with Randy Savage, Macho Man. And I forget who Hulk Hogan's tag team partner was. And they ended up doing 3 matches for the promotion of this. And then because it didn't take off, they just kind of dropped it. They quit even doing it.
Yeah, I guess he was Tiny Lister was very much wanted to beat Hulk Hogan in an actual match because he thought he could, because he was really mad at the end result of this movie.
You're the bad guy. You're gonna lose.
That's
man.
what happens, man.
Yeah. Bad guy can't win.
God, especially a bad guy like you.
Yeah, you are the bad guy.
Ooh. God, so good. All right. Well, I think it's time to jump into the plot of NoHoldsBarred. We got to throw up. Got to throw it up, right? I can't do it. There it is.
Hold on. I've been doing it all day. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, brother. God, can't do that too much. All right.
It does hurt the voice.
Well, it's time to dissect that film.
I can't hide behind my other hand.
You did great, Angela. You did great. So the movie opens to Jesse Ventura being made fun of because he's wearing a certain outfit over the title card. You don't actually see him, but the other announcer is making fun of what Jesse Ventura is wearing. And I just love, he's just like, you don't make fun of Jesse Ventura's outfit. And then you see what he looks like, and you're like, okay. All right.
Yeah, we get it.
And we have a match between Jake Bullet and Rip, or the Ripper. I think they call him the Ripper one time, and then the rest of it, he's just Rip.
Yeah. Inconsistent, but we're okay with it.
And so, he makes his entrance like Hulk Hogan would, because this is legit just a Hulk Hogan movie. He is playing himself, but things are just different enough. Like, for instance, if for anyone watching the video version, what Charlie is wearing is that's the color scheme. He's blue and white, where Hulk Hogan's color scheme is red and yellow. So it was like, there was your subtle change. But the funny thing is like he's playing a character, but yet you have Jesse Ventura's in the movie as Jesse Ventura. So
and Mean Gene's the other commentator.
Yeah.
So you got both like icons from wrestling.
Yep.
Right there, and then not Hulk Hogan coming into the ring.
But then we get the of course the classic Hulk shirt rip. And then we get the match, and of course, Rip wins the match. And then we get shown a boardroom where we see Kurt Fuller's character, Brell. He is pissed because his news network or his network is like the bottom of the ratings, and he really wants Rip as part of the network. And originally, I thought he wanted to do something to Rip, but then I realized, no, he wants Rip on the network. I was very confused at this very moment if Rip was already involved in the network and he wanted him gone. It was very weird, but then I figured out it was the latter. So, oh yeah, we also get like the signature move, which I guess was like a Hulk Hogan's signature move over in Japan. It was like the double axe hammer or something like that.
Double sledgehammer. Yep. Run across, boom, right on top of the head.
Yeah.
Yep.
And and then we're back at the boardroom the next day, and this guy sucks. Like, this is not how you run a company at all. He is just an asshole every moment of this movie. There is no redeeming factor for this man. He sucks.
Yeah.
Every ounce of him. And he calls on this woman who I guess survived the purge and asks her, make it worth it. And she comes up with an idea, and he goes, Miss Tidings, take a leak. And she just cries, clutches her purse, and runs out of the room crying. And I was like, Jesus.
Vince has told someone to take a leak before. That is straight from Vince, I have to imagine. And he went, I'm putting this in the movie. Tell him to take a leak and make it a woman. Yeah, I've never been able to actually say that to a woman.
But he probably did. Yeah, many times.
That's I want to know what executive Vince and Hulk had run-ins with that created the Fuller character. Because that's what this is. This is them giving a secret middle finger to some network that they had a falling out with and some executive, and they went, you motherfucker, this is who this is right now. And I want to know who it is.
Oh, man. Yeah, he is just very angry. He wants Rip. And so he calls Rip in, who's not part of his network. He has a contract with another network, and he is the worst negotiator ever, bro. He literally brings him in. Of course, he's like, just talking. He's like, I can give you whatever you want. And he's like, well, I'm already under a contract. He's like, I know, but I will give you whatever you want. And he does the technique of getting a blank check and putting it down is like, you write whatever you want on that check. And Rip doesn't want to do it. He declines it. And Brell can't take no for an answer. So he acts like a baby, and he calls him like a jockass, which is like his biggest thing. And he's just, this is how you're going to sell yourself, right? To this guy you run on your network. You're going to get mad. You're going to act like a fuming toddler, and you're going to yell at the person you want, and then call him names. And then Rip picks up the check. This is great. And just shoves it into his mouth. And the two guys, his two assistants, were just like, they don't move a muscle, though. They're just like, oh, shit.
I won't be here long enough to see that come back out as he shoves it down his mouth.
So good. Oh.
To this day, I kept waiting for him to break the chair. They make such a big deal about this Henry V, whatever fucking chair. And he walks over, but he picks up the check. I was waiting for him to just smash the chair
over him. Yeah.
Just to fuck with him. Just anything, but no, he's got too much class.
I do love the moment though when he sits in the chair and they all kind of like, but nothing happens with
it. Even his facial expression, like, okay.
Okay, it's good.
Right.
It's good.
We're good. We're good.
And Rip's just sitting there like, the hell? So Rip leaves the network building and he gets into a limo, and then the limo driver just takes him on a fucking ride. Like, he is just getting, like, for one, he like pushes a button and like armored windows and like barriers start going everywhere. And it's just, but the best thing is he like, Rip like throws his body up against that divider window that like where the driver can talk to the person in the back, and it like causes the driver to like, whoa.
He can't keep the car on the road. None of this has anything to do with the steering, suspension, nothing.
My son is like, why is he doing that? What is happening? How is that affecting his driving? I'm like, it's Hulk Hogan back there just throwing his big ass body.
I want to be the special effects guy on the inside, pushing that metal rod through the door to make it look like Hulk Hogan is kicking through the door, and it's just denting it. And by the end of the chase slash, it's like all of the doors have been dented out. I was like, I love it. I love it. And it's just Hogan like Star Trek Enterprising himself around the entire inside, throwing him, breaking whatever he could break, and I smile on my face the whole time.
Oh, I was laughing my ass off. This
is great. This is the prequel to Assault on Devil's Island. You know, that's exactly what this felt like. Okay. Armored limo, armored, all this stuff. Bad guys at the end of this.
Oh no.
This is where it started right here, sir.
Oh God. So the other thing that's great is the sax that's playing over like everything that's going on. I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a Seagal movie right now. It's like the car is just down the road.
Richard Donner had a couple of rewrites on this. He got some Lethal Weapon sax. Lead more sax in this, guys. Come on.
You know that more cowbell skit? This was the more sax skit.
Every Lethal Weapon movie just had more and more sax. That's just how it kept going.
So he then is able to like the limo driver crashes into a warehouse and Hulk just blasts through the roof of the limo. What? Just God, Supermans himself out of the window. And
this is cinema. This is cinema right here, man.
And he just lays a beat down on every thug that is in this warehouse. And I just love the limo driver the whole time. He's just like, please don't. Oh God. Oh jeez.
Everybody's got like lead pipes. A couple of them's got blackjacks. Like everything that's like cliche thugs, gangsters are in this warehouse. And you've got fucking King Kong jumped out of this limousine. And it is sold as that. Like what is coming up out of this limo? It's like dust and metal and everything as he jumps out like Godzilla and just lands and growls at everyone. This is I was cheering.
The funniest thing is the look on every thug's face anytime he is about to attack them, because they just look generally scared of this man. Like there's a guy on the roof, he's like laying on his back, he's like kicking at him and he's missing, and then Rip grabs his leg and the dude's like, I'm dead. It's just whoa. And after he beats the shit out of everybody here, we get one of the best lines of the entire movie, as the limo driver, the door is ripped off the limo. The limo driver is ripped out of the car. He is holding his pants. They're all wet. And then what's that smell? Dookie. Like, what is this movie?
That's what every kid in the 80s came back to school after watching that movie said for an entire month. Teachers hated this movie because anytime someone's pants got wet, Dookie, that's all you heard throughout the hallway.
Oh my God. His face though when he says it is so good. Oh Lord. So now Rip goes back to the network he's a part of, right? And he is told he has a new representative, and her name is Sam, and then it gets into some weird close to sexual harassment situations with Rip, as literally through this board meeting, she is trying to explain his image and like build it up, and he is just checking her out. He is literally staring at her in ways you don't do that when you have an entire room of people looking at you. But guess what, guys? She'll fall for him. Not right now,
it's gonna happen.
but it's gonna happen. But this weird flirtation that should have never happened happens, and then she asks him out to dinner, but he has to dress nice.
Hey, they just met 24 hours ago. They got to go to dinner.
It's not a monster movie, though. Doesn't make sense. But all right. We're at a French restaurant, and of course, the waiter's a dick. And but I do love that the chefs come out, or the chef and like all of his like cooks come out, and there's like, you did not say that Rip was here.
Yeah, you realize he's a regular. Like even she's like, you could try this. You may like that. And the waiter's like, we don't have burgers or pizza.
Oh, we don't have hamburgers and
hamburgers,
hot dogs.
Yeah, foot-long hot dogs.
Foot-long hot dogs. And I just love that the chef is just like, yeah, he's new.
Yeah. He's like, oh, we're sorry. We're so sorry, Mr. Rip. It's okay.
It's so funny.
We get. And the smug look, like even when she's looking at him, he's just like, yeah.
They also have him speak like one line of French. You're like, oof, that was rough. He probably was. There was probably somebody whispering in like an earpiece like 50,000 times. Like
worked for a week. Okay, a week on that word. Give him some credit, Parker. Come on, quit bashing on him.
It just reminds me of an episode of Friends where Phoebe tries to teach Joey how to speak French, and he just cannot get it. It's not even close.
It's the cut. It's the bloopers at the end of Rush Hour with Chris Tucker trying to speak Chinese.
Why don't movies do that anymore? Why did we stop doing blooper reels at the end of movies?
Bloopers.
Dude, the Rush Hour movies were great because of those blooper reels, man. Yes. Those are awesome. And then
Pixar made bloopers. Pixar scripted bloopers to put at the end of their movies.
Oh, yes. Back. Monsters, Inc.
We want Monsters, Inc., A Bug's Life.
Yes.
All those had some of the
I remember those.
Bloopers.
Toy Story 2 did it. Yeah. Great.
Yep. Bring it back.
God.
Shall I say, give me back my bloopers.
Oh, new movie podcast.
Nothing but bloopers.
Goddamn.
That's my show. That's my show anyway.
Oh, man. So Brell takes his two cronies. That's what I'm going to call them because that's what they are. And he brings them to a really whatever the hell this place is. This isn't a bar, man. This is like a wild kingdom. Like, this is fucking insane. I see some crazy bars in movies, and I'm just like, what the is happening here?
This is not the country western bar from Terminator 2. This is not the bar from... This ain't Roadhouse. This ain't Hands of Steel. This ain't even the one where they ate the big blue mint in the toilet. Okay, this is a lower than that. That's what this bar is.
There's literally crazy like wrestling going on in the middle. You have people getting tattooed. It's just utter chaos in here.
It's not sanitary.
Hey, I have tattoos. You don't mess with that.
So you got to keep it clean.
So I'd like a beer and that random man over there to tattoo something on me.
Yeah, hopefully, I don't care what it is.
Hopefully I don't get HIV.
Hopefully it's not overtly racist. It's a 50-50 shot what I'm getting in this bar.
Well, we do get a line that is one of those like, all right. So they go into the bar, and of course they're dressed in suits, and this, country woman comes in. She's like, well, what do you want? Are you looking for the gay bar? That's across the street. And I was like, what? Oh, okay.
To be fair, it's 89. It could have been way worse.
It could have. Yeah, they said gay. They didn't say other things.
Exactly.
So I guess it wasn't that bad. Yeah.
This was PG-13. Even then, they were like, just stick with gay.
Yeah, that's.
But then she was also like, "Are you guys with the government? Because they look like government guys."
I mean, we also get the inkling, like, because you meet her brother, which was the big wrestler guy. Dude, there's no way that those two aren't fucking. Like, they're brother and sister, but they are also boyfriend girlfriend.
I'd say most of them share some kind of genetic strain, and not just from the tattoos in this bar.
My favorite thing, though, and I wrote down the line, was that they sit down and she's like, "Okay, what do you all want?" And they order their drinks. Of course, like one like says like dry margarita or dry martini, and one person says something else. And she goes, "Well, I'd like to be laid, relayed, and parlayed."
Parlayed.
So you ain't getting none of that. And the guy's like, 3 beers.
3 beers. Boom. Done.
So
love it.
of course, like the two cronies there, they're just like, what is this place? What are we doing here? And Brel is all about it. He's trying to find some talent to compete against Rip to either eventually get Rip to his network or just have somebody better than Rip to finally beat him.
Yeah.
So there's matches going on in there. And then what was the wager that Brel does to get the guy? Because the one crony talks to the dude who ends up being the waitress's brother, and he says things, and then Brel's like, I will give you, because she's like, okay, how are you gonna pay for this? He's like, you take cards? Like, no, cash, that's it. And so Brel gives him, it's like, you can keep the change, but your brother's got to go in there and fight the guy who just won. And so he just hops in there, beats the shit out of the guy who just won, and then fucking shotguns a keg. He literally just pumps a hole.
That was not the first time he's done that, sir.
No,
that was not
even close.
I like to think that this bar with these executives going in, because what it is they're looking for competition to the wrestling show on the other network. I feel like this is Vince doing another dig of that's how shitty he looks down on all these other wrestling organizations that are trying to get bigger and trying to even consider themselves competition to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like him, like flicking his nose at him. Like, this is what I think of all you guys. This is what I think of all you upstarts that think you're me. You're this shitty bar with these big ass hillbillies beating the shit out of each other.
So we then get the two cronies going to the bathroom, and we don't get a bathroom sign.
My pants.
We don't get a bathroom sign. It says VD room. I was like, oh no. Oh, they go in there. There's like overflowing urinals. It's nasty. There's a dog strapped to the back wall. Like, what is happening here?
They're freaking peeing in a trough. Like,
I mean, that's I've done that before. Like we have a racetrack we go to, and that's the men's room.
a lot of sports arenas.
Yeah,
it's a trough with ice.
Yep.
There's no ice in this one, but we usually get ice.
I mean, most of these places are a lot cleaner than this.
I thought it was a big sink, but
it was gross.
I mean, it's kind of a giant sink whenever you think about it. You know,
just don't wash your hands in that.
So they're at the whatever this is, the trough, the urinal, whatever, and they're just talking mad shit about the people at this bar. And that guy who just wrestled and shotgunned that keg is in the stall. And he comes down and he's like, who you calling an idiot? And then he goes up to them and he's going to like beat them up. And then he looks down. He's like, what are you working with here? Oh, he got a teeny wanger. Oh, you're working with the same thing. Teeny wangers. Oh, you guys are going through enough already. Just leave them alone. Oh.
Hey, sometimes the tiny penis saves you.
It does, and it did for these two men because they would have gotten killed. Because all I know is that I'm just imagining if he didn't just walk away, he was sticking both of their heads in this full ass trough, and I would have thrown up. I would have probably it would have been like, hey, life was good to this point. I think it's over. I think it's about time. I might check.
Just punch me as hard as you can in the face. I'll take that.
That. Please.
Yeah. No swirlies.
Oh, rip off my arm. I don't care. Just don't put my head in that thing. So Brel puts out a tournament, like puts out a wager. He goes into the ring and he puts out a competition worth $100,000. And it's called Battle of the Tough Guys. And it's pretty much getting all of these like hillbilly guys from these from like bars like this to compete to kind of, to have like the competition against the other network and ultimately catch the attention of Rip.
Yeah.
So we meet the talent, all hilarious. They're all just dirty. They're hillbillies, like straight up mountain men.
Caricatures.
Yeah, they're caricatures of what people imagine people from the South are.
I mean, one dude had underarm hair you could
yes! And I didn't notice it at first. I didn't notice it till he was wrestling, and I went, holy shit, that is some arm hair right there, dude.
He's the one spraying himself, and I know they're trying to make it out like he's spraying himself with like some kind of aerosol that's like bad for you, but it's literally just that pump water hydrating stuff. Because he's like, just going to town on it. Look, all I can say is watching this movie, and this is the reason I bring it up, is Vince and Hogan, while writing the script, also had Over the Top playing in the hotel, Bloodsport playing in the hotel, Kickboxer playing in the hotel, because they took so much shit from every other sport-ish movie. Rocky is in, they just went, what did everyone else do and how can we make it about wrestling? Because all these guys are the guys in the arm wrestling competition at the end of Over the Top. The dude drinking the oil, all of this insanity is going on, and that's exactly what this is they're just like, what worked here? Put it in the movie. What's that? Put it in the movie. We're doing it.
Oh man, Over the Top. I feel like we got to cover that at some point. That movie is so, like, I shockingly watched it a couple years ago and was like, what did I just watch and why did I enjoy it as much as I did? Oh, it's an arm wrestling movie, man.
Yeah. It is one of Jackie's favorite movies.
Oh, man.
Like, we haven't done it yet because I'm going to try and integrate her into it, but she absolutely adores Over the Top. I love it. I think it's not an action movie, but it's definitely a dude movie. It's just that
it's a dude movie with some heart, man. With some heart.
It is, man. It is that they tried to do. They tried to do with this movie.
Yes, very much. We then, after all of the guys that we've seen before do their thing, then we get the epic entrance of our latest competitor. He literally, a giant steel door drops open. He walks out. Who is it? Zeus. He's got a Z, like some of his hair is cut into a Z on the side of his head. He's got he's got the lazy eye, the super lazy eye on one side. He's just walking all broad shouldered down the steps.
He's got like the weightlifting belt on underneath. Like his waist comes down to like Barbie doll size, but everything else got pushed up into his shoulders. This is a fantastic entrance.
It's great.
Like this is a dude that does wrestling and writes wrestling and went, we need an epic entrance. This is how we're going to do it. And that it works. Zeus is a force of nature when he shows up in this movie.
And you just know he's the villain with his first interaction with somebody. And that is a woman walking up to him. And he just palms her face and throws her across the room. And you're like, oh, shit.
She's dangling. He has her palmed like a basketball, and her feet are dangling. And he's not like struggling. It's like, Arnold holding Sully like, this is my weak arm. This was, I am going to just, and it's a woman too. Vince, what's wrong with you, bro? We know a little bit, but come on, bro.
No, we know a lot of it. It's
yeah, we do. And it throws her in a barrel. Like she falls in like a barrel that, I know it's a breakaway, but that still fucking hurt. Okay. That still had to hurt a little bit when she landed in there.
You're like, yep, this is the villain. All right. No doubt about this. And he makes easy work of the rest of the competition and wins the whole thing and becomes Brel's little pet.
Yeah. I guess you could say pet. Brel treats him with more respect than he ever did like Rip. Because he's terrified. Yeah.
But he also has like that comfort around him too. Like he knows that, like he has this weird feeling like Zeus isn't going to do anything to him. Like he has something over him or whatever.
He's paying him. I mean, he just gave him $100,000 for one fight.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure Zeus isn't completely stupid, but I mean, they make Zeus out. And even in this fight, he just yells. He just demolishes everyone that and they do this. And I do like this, because it goes back to the Brel thing. He's always on. He is always ready to destroy anyone that he is looking at, because it happens later. He's like amped up and Brel gets his attention and he turns around and Brel has to be like, whoa, it's me. Like Tiny is just ready to just rip people apart. And I still don't know if that's really how Tiny is. That man would terrify me, and I ain't scared of very many people.
Dude, everyone was afraid of Debo, okay?
Yeah, that is a mountain of a dude right there.
I remember even watching him in The Dark Knight, like his scene in that, where he's the guy who takes the detonator when the two fairies have the bombs on it, and he throws it. Like, they're terrified of him when he's like walking. His entrance just in that 2-minute scene he's in, he walks through the crowd, he's handcuffed, and he looks at the guard, and the guard is literally like sweating, looking up at this man. And he's just like,
he's like,
give it to me.
Give it to me.
Yeah. He's like,
I'm going to do what you should have done.
And he just
10, 30 minutes ago, whatever it was.
Throws it out the window.
I love it. And everyone's like fighting, but no one is saying shit to him. He just turns around and goes, sits back down.
Yeah.
Like,
so good.
Fuck it. We're done. I like it. I think what kills it for me with him sometimes is when you do watch The Fifth Element and he's the president and he's very like normal talking, he's talking to fucking Bruce Willis's mom at the end of the movie. So there's got to be a lighter side to him, but 90% of everything I've ever seen him in, he is a fucking monster. And that is all I've ever equated Tiny Lister monster. That is pretty much how it works for him.
So while all this is happening, Rip and his brother and like everyone that he's involved with are sitting around the TV watching all this go down. And his trainer, Charlie, mentions that he used to be Zeus's trainer and he stopped being his trainer when Zeus killed someone in the ring. Is that what he did? And then he went to jail.
He killed someone after the bell. So that he made a point to say that, because I guess it makes it different if you die in the sport doing, and it was an accident. But because he died after the bell, that's what it is. And again, they were watching Bloodsport when they got that storyline for him, because Chong Li kills that one dude and they all like turn his back on, Chong Li and that. So we know what you watched, Vince.
Yeah, and oh man, and we got to talk about the unibrow that Zeus has. Is like, it's not your traditional unibrow that just goes straight across. It's like it comes down to a point like right at his nose. It's fantastic. And then he grabs the top of that guy's head and just rips out a bunch of his hair and he's just holding it and they were like, Jesus.
Scalp the dude.
My favorite thing, though,
migrating eyebrow that he has, because it doesn't. It's over further in some scenes, and then it's like chopped off.
Oh my!
Yeah, because it's like supposed to have a scar or something right here, so the eyebrow stop. But if you're right, Angela, every once in a while, it's a different size. Like the makeup people couldn't remember where they stopped it.
We didn't write this down. We didn't draw a picture to get the reference.
The marker wore off.
Oh no!
They kept trying to draw where it ended.
Oh man, my favorite thing though is anytime they would show Rip and they would go really close to his face and he's just like, and his cheeks shake and stuff.
He's doing that microaggressions, just moving that face. I'm just trying to show how pissed off I am, how mad I am, and that's a Hogan thing that even goes on into his own. How many times did they do it in the Assault on Devil's Island?
Too many times. Too many times.
And he hated doing those movies. I'm sure he loved this one, but yeah, he got his close-ups. Jesus, man, the egos, and I mean it's wrestling. You got to have some ego with this, but man, Hogan ate this shit up.
So this event puts W2N, which is Brell's network, at number 1 in his time slot. So like things are going his way. So now it's another event and it's at a steel mill. And I was like, what? Okay, this is happening. And
it looks badass though.
It does. It sure does. This is a video game, by the way. This movie is just a video game. You are fighting in different arenas. It's like a Street Fighter. It's like a Tekken. Like we're at different crazy ass arenas that doesn't make sense to real, with real wrestling.
Yeah.
We get a fight between Lug Wrench, which is literally a steel worker who has the biggest fucking, ratchet I've ever seen in my life, and Zeus. And he makes pretty quick work of Lug Wrench. He just throws him everywhere, throws him through some lockers. I love how his coworkers are in the back like, yeah, come on, Lug Wrench.
They got some money riding on it, man. But
Yep.
you can't undersell Zeus. He's wearing chainmail
He is.
as a vest.
And he's got like those steel bracelets.
He's got the Power Man gauntlets going on. He thinks he's Luke Cage. Yeah, this is straight up out of like every action movie. Like, and you're right, video game. Like, I immediately was thinking, this is way still too early for Mortal Kombat, but this is where Street Fighter got some influence watching No Holds Barred.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
let's put them in all these weird places. This is really cool looking.
Holy
The way
shit.
it was
Let's
playing-
go to a steel mill.
Streets of Rage. Yeah, let's
Yes.
That's exactly what it was. Playing some Streets of Rage, Vince, weren't you? That's what you were doing. Double Dragon, little Double Dragon going on down there.
So Rip takes Sam to like they're going to an event, right? Is that where they're going when they're flying somewhere? I don't remember what the heck they were doing, but they go somewhere.
I don't remember what.
Yeah, they were going somewhere, and Rip takes Sam to a local diner that he goes to whenever he's in this place. I don't remember where they were.
Yeah.
And of course, while they're there eating, there's an attempted robbery.
Yeah.
And then what does Rip do? He throws them all over this place, causing a lot of property damage, but he defeated the robbers. So everyone's like, yay, thanks, Rip. Now hopefully our insurance will cover all of this. But thank you, Rip, for apprehending those robbers. Thanks. Appreciate you.
I took this as one, he knows the owner. Like, she's super happy. I guess there was a thing between the two of them earlier.
Yes.
You could definitely hear that. But I always took it as this dude's like loaded. Like, Rip makes good money doing what he does, and I'm sure he covered whatever damage was done there. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's just the way Rip's gonna be.
I mean, she was happy about it, so I guess she didn't give a shit.
She was at what she said something like,
he's mine.
He was mine, but there was a thing she said back when I was like a size 6 or something like that. It'd have been a totally different, because she's talking to Sam.
Yep.
Like, you're lucky, honey, because if I was what I used to be different. I was like, I like her. She's sassy.
I do love, though, he like takes care of the first robber pretty quickly. And then the second guy, he just tosses like 25 pies at him. It just throws them all over the place. It's fantastic.
You gotta have this is the action mentality in a movie. Is we've had enough exposition, now we need another fight. And we've already seen Tiny in the steel mill. Now Rip needs to do something semi-heroic, but we only ever see him do one match with the network he's with. So we got to see him, like, he fights the henchman when he gets kidnapped. Now he's got to take on armed robbers at a diner that he just happens to show up at a random time. But it's just, you got to keep that adrenaline going. At 13, watching this movie, you're like, yes, as soon as robbers jump into this place, I'm kicking their ass just like Rip did. I can take them.
Also, it just, I don't know. The whole scene was hilarious. And then of course this is the scene that makes you get the close up on Sam as she looks at Rip and she's like, oh, am I falling for him now? Of course you are. They get to the hotel. Of course there's only one bed. Oh, whoa.
My people didn't book it though.
Yep.
Don't forget.
Yep. And so Rip, while she's in the bathroom, Rip like creates a divider, on the bed, and we get this whole thing where, for one, Rip is wearing the shortest shorts ever to short ever, and so like she comes out and sees him like bent over, and she's like, all right, but then he turns around and sees her, she's just, in a bra and like these little lingerie shorts or whatever the hell she's wearing, and he's like, all right. And then, like, nothing happens with this. Like, you think by the end of this night they were gonna sleep with each other, but it doesn't happen. No. You get the whole thing where you think he's jerking it, man. You think he's going to town on himself, but he's actually doing. For one, you're sharing a bed with somebody. Be a little bit more considerate. Why are your feet up on the bed while you're doing these push-ups there, Rip?
Because that's how they wrote it, to make it seem like it's a jerk-off joke. Not to mention, I was missing the shorts he was wearing earlier, because now you see him in the fucking pink, like string bikini underwear he's wearing. It's like, I want the shorts back. I just bring those back, please. Oh God. And then he breaks the bed, and she thinks he did it on purpose because she falls on him. And he's like, look, bed broke. I don't know what to tell you. You know, you're crazy, lady. I'm going out to the lobby to go to bed. I'm like, I don't think you're allowed to do that, sir. I think you need to put more clothes on if you're going to sit out in the lobby.
The funniest.
Angela, you're on mute.
Sorry. My daughter's in here with me, so she keeps asking me questions. So
that's okay. Ask away. We don't mind.
The funniest thing, though, is that after she realizes he's not jerking off, she goes back and he continues to do it. So the bed is still shaking, and she has the biggest smile on her face. Like she was hoping that he was actually doing that. Oh, no. And yeah, they have like a quick heart-to-heart about, because they're both lonely. Like she's, she's a very attractive woman, so she should have all these men swooning over her, but yet, she doesn't. And he, it's kind of the same thing for him. And, that's why they're meant to be together.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, bed breaks, rolls into something. You think this is where it's going to happen. Nothing happens.
Nope.
So
Rip's a good dude. That's
he is. He's a good dude.
Rip's a good dude.
If only Hulk Hogan was the same.
No, we're not talking about Hulk Hogan, sir. We're talking about Rip. We're talking about
two different characters.
Rip 'em, sir. That's who we're talking about. That's who this movie's about, sir.
I said if only, okay?
Okay, if only.
You find out Sam works for Brell. You're like, oh shit. Doesn't really go much. But guess what? Doesn't really go much farther than that. Because she she goes in there, and then Brell, this is where you find out, Brell, you find out that he sucks in the beginning of this movie, but then he crosses that line to monster because he fucking backhands her.
Yeah.
Because, of course, he's like, of course you're falling for him now, but of course I tell you to seduce him, you can't do that, but now you're falling for him, and so you can't sleep with him, like something like that. And then she's like, he's a good guy, and he's just like, just fucking smokes her, and you're like, God, dude, okay, you have.
And then she needs to punch him.
Yeah,
really hard.
Yeah, but yeah, she ends up leaving, and he does the dramatic. The thing about Kurt Fuller in this movie is he goes above and beyond his performance, because he literally runs. He's like, "You owe me," and then he like slaps his body up against the door. He's like, "You owe me."
Got a little slapstickish. Yeah.
Oh, golly, man.
Like, this movie is definitely over the top in a lot of things, but that, I don't think it needed.
He is a cartoon. He is a cartoon character for a villain. It's wild. And it just gets crazier as this movie goes on.
It does.
So immediately Sam goes to Rip and tells him that she was working for Brell. And there's no conflict, which is kind of crazy. Like, she goes, tells him, and then he's like, I forgive you. And then you think they're about to do it, but of course, Rip is so focused on the TV, because who's on there but Zeus calling out Rip. And of course, you got to have that close on zoom on Rip as he's just like, and I was like, bro, there's a hot chick laying on you right now. What
right
the
fuck?
fuck?
Hold on top of you.
I was like, this is a recording, okay? This was recorded. Who gives a shit? He called you out. Whoop-de-doo. Bang the chick. Come on. What are we doing? But
it's PG-13.
Well, they're not going to show it, but he definitely didn't at that time.
It's still PG-13.
Damn it. We're then at a charity event that Rip has, where he works with kids and teaches them like wrestling stuff, and just like, he's a good dude. He's doing good things. Why is this the perfect time to come and fucking call him out? Literally in the middle of this charity.
It's an ultimate dick move. Not only do they come and call him out, they fly a fucking helicopter and land 20 feet from 100 kids, blowing dirt, dust, everything. It is this, like, I already hate Fuller, okay? You don't need to make me hate him anymore. But guess what? I do even more now.
Yes, he is very, this just adds to his shit list here. It's just,
Yeah.
So he lands, he brings Zeus over to Rip while he's surrounded by all these kids, and he's like, Zeus challenges you, do you accept it? And of course, Rip doesn't say anything. So Brel goes, well, I guess the silence is the answer. Well, I guess we have a new world champion. I was like, I don't think that's how it works. Okay, I guess we'll go with it. Sure. So we're then back with Sam. She's like getting ready to go to work or go home. I don't remember where she was. She's just in a parking garage, and she almost gets abducted. But of course, who shows up at the nick of time but Rip on his bike? This is great. He literally beats the shit out of this man with his bike, and then
It's awesome.
rides at him. The guy like attaches to the front. Did I write the line down? Oh, he's like, you, me, Harley, and a tree. Just drives, hits the brakes, dude flies into a tree. Fantastic.
You said if I had time, I'd have done the jacket too, because the back of the jacket says "Rip 'em," and it's got his
little hand gesture.
his hand gesture underneath "Rip 'em" right on the back of the jacket. I'm like, that's badass. I need that jacket.
His license plate says "Rip 'em" too.
Everything is "Rip 'em."
Yep.
He is Gene Simmons in this entire brand. That's exactly what's happening.
Oh my God. So we're then at another match, I think, for Zeus. I'm not sure what's going on here, or they're just having a kind of a hangout. But
Well, it's a TV show. I think they're still filming again. They're
Okay.
filming
All right.
another episode of Tough Guy.
well, this is when Randy, Rip's brother, and I'm guessing, is this the other guy that was with Rip's posse there?
Yeah, this
They-
is. I don't know what his role really was in here.
I don't
other
even
than
know what
he
his name is.
Yeah, he's there, and all I could get was like him and Randy were probably bros. Like that's all
It's like
I
his
could
best friend
figure
or
out.
something. Right.
Yeah, like best friend. Just what you think, Angela?
Unger, I think is the other guy's name, because it's David Paymer.
Oh no, that's one of the cronies. That's one of
Oh,
Brel's
the cronies.
cronies.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
a henchman.
Never mind
yeah.
then.
Yeah.
Never mind then.
No,
But yeah, they go down to watch Zeus fight, and they get kind of noticed by Brel and his gang there. And I don't know how this is legal. Like, somebody should have gotten arrested for attempted murder. So they pretty much kidnap Rip's brother and the buddy there. They bring him over to Zeus, and Zeus just fucking almost murders Randy. Like, puts him in a coma for a bit. He's like paralyzed from like the waist down. Like this, he's in a rough state. How was this man not arrested for attempted murder?
because nobody reported it, and Vince watched Kickboxer. And this is when Kurt's brother got beat up and is paralyzed and can't walk, and he's in a wheelchair the rest of the movie.
Charlie, I'm
Because Vince,
stop making sense, okay?
I'm just telling you what Vince was watching in the hotel room when they wrote this movie. I know exactly when he watched every single movie in, but yeah, it's.
Hey, they had 72 hours. They watched a lot of movies.
I can watch a lot of movies in 72 hours, especially if I'm getting paid script money.
Hell yeah.
Heck
Hell yeah.
It's called Written by Erase This Name, Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So Rip, of course, you'd never the thing. Here's the problem with this movie. There's never any like in between for certain things. Like, so Randy gets his ass beat, right? And then it immediately goes to Rip showing up at Zeus's gym, pissed off, goes in there, just wreaks havoc. There's no, like, I wish there was like some inkling of like either Rip finds Randy or Rip finds out that Randy got beat up by Zeus. It's just kind of assumed Rip found out. And so he just goes there and does his thing. Whatever. I do love that the evil guys there are just watching from their office, watching as Rip is just tearing this gym apart.
they set up a projector.
Yes,
with Zeus
it's like a hologram.
Yeah,
Ugh.
I mean, it's obviously him standing there. The technology was not there in 1989 when they did this.
I love his
But
stance.
he's like, and it's kind of like wavy looking even when you see Hogan in there. I think this is weird because I think you're right. This feels odd because you do get the dramatic thing with Hogan, and I think it's after this inner thing because he's at the bedside of Randy because he does that real like Oscar worthy, thing. Was that before he goes to the gym or was it after he goes to the gym?
No, it was after he goes to the gym. It's the whole montage because it's the montage of Rip helping Randy through like physical therapy and all that stuff. And then Zeus is going through his training.
Yeah. See, that should have been flipped. It should have been him beside Randy, do the dialogue of him breaking down, go to him going to Zeus's gym, cause chaos, and then go into the montage of training. Because at that point, you've accepted the challenge and now do the montage. Like, that's the disconnect of just going from Randy got beat up and then Hogan goes berserker. Which he doesn't go berserker a whole lot in this movie, not till towards this end. Like when Sam got attacked and almost kidnapped, she's selling being freaked out. Like she was about abducted, and he's like, "Hey, babe, you all right?"
He's like, I hate to see when you're hurt.
Yeah, I don't like
sad. And I was like, wow, what a line delivery there, Hulk.
Can you change your face? Because it's making me sad too. That's what I waited for him to say. But yeah, I think there's a little, there's not many critiques I have about this movie, but maybe that's one.
Listen,
maybe.
This is the third Hulk Hogan movie I have talked about. And the scene when he is sitting next to Randy while Randy is like in a coma, the most emotion I've ever seen Hulk Hogan have in my entire life. He was actually like you could feel it. You actually believed his emotions at this moment. I'm like, where was this in all the other, like in those other two, whatever they were, like
they didn't pay him enough.
Yeah, I ain't crying anymore.
Or he didn't get to write it. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Weird.
So we get the montage. Yeah, we get it's the Zeus training as Rip is helping Randy. Randy is in a wheelchair. He's pretty much paralyzed. I think it's from the neck down, actually. I don't think.
Yeah,
he
can't move. He can't move his arms, nothing. Yeah. He's only move his head.
So they show up for the match. And while they're getting on the elevator, the guards that are in this hotel or wherever they're having this event, like kidnap her again. And I'm like, God, this woman can't catch up. Right? And she gets to watch the entire match with the two cronies and a couple other guards. Mm-hmm. Brell calls Rip and tells him, he's like, you fight for 10 minutes and then you fall. And if you don't fall, then you're going to have to push around two people in wheelchairs. And I was like, boy, let's put another check next to evil doer. All right. You got plenty of checks, bro. I don't know how many more we can give you. And
also the trope of fixing the fight, always. And that's, no one ever has faith in their dude. No one had faith in Tong Po, in Kickboxer. They had to fix the fight so Kurt wouldn't win. And now dude doesn't have faith that Tiny Lister is going to kick the shit out of Rip. He's got to fix the fight. Have faith in your fighter. Have faith in your dude that is literally the villain and everything. Don't fix it for him. Like, let's see how good he is. Have that faith. Never do the villains let us do that. Always got to fix it.
Yep.
Hands of Steel. They fixed it. And like, no, got it. Sorry. I went on a rant. It's okay.
That's okay. We love to talk about
Tell us how you really feel.
We love action tropes.
This one's full of them.
So the match starts. Rip starts getting his ass beat right away. He looks up though, and the clock isn't moving, and he's like, "All right, well, I guess I'll start actually fighting." And so he gets a few punches in, but then it like goes away. Like we then go back to where Sam is, and she's planning her escape. She is able to escape, but it doesn't last very long. She gets to the elevator, and then they're able to catch up because the elevator is the slowest elevator on the planet. I'm sorry.
Stairs.
Like, and she's like, "Come on, what the hell? Why is like hurry up?"
But you also, this is that trope of the bumbling idiots. Of course, the two guys screw up because they're so intense on the match. The two guards with them, there's 4 people watching her, and she's in the back of the room in a rolling chair, and she sneaks out like right at the last minute. And yeah, it's very cartoonish again of these stooges trying to catch up with her. And then she's obviously, they're waiting at the bottom. They jump down steps. I was expecting them to not even make it. It was like 20 some fucking floors. That's a lot of stairs to run down.
When she gets on the elevator and the door shuts and that one guard dives at the door and he like holds it open, but then it shuts on him.
Fingertips.
Yeah. And then he gets up and one of the, I think, not Unger, but the other guy, he literally grabs the guard. He's like, "What are you doing? You're supposed to stop her. Shoot her, for fuck's sake." Or I was like, shoot her. Damn.
Yeah.
Like, what is happening here?
Dude turned it to 11, man. He's like,
Jeez.
I think he's that worried about whatever Fuller like sending Zeus on him. That's kind of what I took that as, is they just don't want the wrath of what would happen to them failing. But yeah, they get down to the bottom and she just opens that door and is like, I'm caught again.
Oh no, shucks. So yeah, Rip continues to get his ass beat. But when Sam gets recaptured, she's quickly saved by Charlie, the trainer, and that random other guy.
I think I looked it up. His name is Craig.
Okay.
It's Patrick O'Brien, who was in like 976 Evil and No Holds Barred.
There you go. There you go. Well,
and,
they come in.
The sequel, he was Spike. Okay, yeah.
Wait, sequel to what?
976.
Oh
Evil.
my god! I thought it was like, there's a sequel to this.
No,
that's where I was at.
There is no sequel to No Holds Barred. It's Assault on Devil's Island. That's the sequel to No Holds Barred. It's actually a trilogy because there's another one after that.
Please God, no. So Rip gets his ass beat even more, and then it gets to the point where he's like down on the mat, and Zeus breaks off the corner pole to the ring and is going to impale this man in front of so many people. This is called murder.
Murder.
I'm sorry. I don't care if the match is still happening. This is murder. Like, you're not getting away with this.
Yeah, this is televised. Like, this whole thing is a huge ordeal for the television.
I'm like,
production.
who is controlling this thing? Who's gonna stop? Somebody gonna stop this? This is not what is supposed to. This is too far.
Yeah, and Brell's cheering the whole time. The guy in charge is like,
this man is out of his fucking mind. Like, his mind is he is so off the deep end. There's no saving him. Like, no saving
much
him.
cocaine. So much
Holy
cocaine
God.
going through his veins right now.
So we even get the thing where, like, I think, does Rip get the upper hand and he like knocks Zeus out of the ring, and then Zeus is like, Charlie's like, "I'm gonna get you, Zeus," and he just fucking pounds Charlie across the room, and that's where I hear his name for the first time, because one of the women were like, "Charlie."
So you get Sam shows up at the ringside, and that, Hogan's getting his ass kicked, and he's got that blurry vision, and he finally sees
his brother
Sam and his brother. He sees both, and he sees Randy move his pinky.
Yeah,
because that means he can, he can move. Like, he's giving that Hulkamania, like, get that energy. And then then he turns everything on Tiny, Zeus, and then we get a fight. And it's about, I don't know, another 2 or 3 minutes before he like kicks Tiny, like, close to where he can take out Charlie, and then Charlie takes a flying, whatever out of everywhere.
Dude, he gives a fucking foot to the mouth.
He does.
Yeah, but this is the pinky is the indication to Rip. It's time to rip it.
Yeah. This is Kurt up in the balcony going, "I'm here, brother, get him." That's exactly the moment, and it's the pinky.
So he gets tossed out of the ring, and when he gets tossed out, you think it's over, but the fight continues because he gets up, he gets a few blows onto Rip. Rip falls down. Then he just starts throwing people in the crowd around.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he literally throws Randy out of his chair and then kicks him in the stomach. I'm like, this boy is just getting fucked every which way.
But Parker, don't forget, this match is special. It's No Holds Barred.
It is. They say the name of the movie right before the match
name of the movie.
starts.
There's no rules. Inside the ring, outside the ring, through the ring, doesn't matter.
The funny thing is we talked about something similar when we talked about Alligator 2 a couple weeks ago. There's a wrestling match in that movie where literally wrestlers are fighting outside of the ring.
It happens. I watch wrestling, so it does happen outside the ring. But this is like Zeus is throwing literal like people watching the show. Like he throws that one dude and Rip catches him and sets him down and keeps going up against Zeus. I couldn't help laughing at that point.
And I'm just like, this is going on forever.
This is a long ending match.
Oh my God. We get, a couple more blows. You get the whole thing where he grabs Zeus's legs. He like pulls him through. He like punches him a few times. And then, you get the final like hit because he does his special move where he hits him and then he flies through the air. And he crashes through the middle of the ring, like leaving a crater. So then Rip turns his attention to Brell, who's inside the control room. While all this is happening, by the way, every time they're showing Brell, he is destroying this control room. He is he's just tearing things out of the wall, knocking things down. I don't know what his plan is. I don't know if he's trying to destroy evidence. I'm confused. This man is just going off of the deep end. He had a strand of something that is affecting his everything to the extreme.
He got some bad coke, but there's technical difficulty going on all the screens. Everywhere. And he's locked himself in a glass room.
Oh my God. And Rip throws a chair through the glass, but he doesn't even get to do anything to Bro because Bro backs up into one of those panels that he had torn apart and electrocutes himself and dies.
He Batman Returns himself.
He sure does. We just don't get the gnarly skeleton like we did with Max Schreck.
No, but we did get blood coming out of his mouth when he landed. Like this wasn't like cartoon, haha, he hurt himself. We'll get a scene of him in the hospital later.
Like, no, he did.
No, he done.
They killed the villain. Like I was half expecting Zeus falling in the middle of the ring. That piece of metal he threw in earlier.
That's what I thought.
Stuck through his stomach.
That's what I thought was going to happen. I thought when he was going through the air, I thought he was going to land on that piece that he broke off, and I was going to be like, no.
Yeah, because it's been a long time since I watched this movie, and I was like, wait, does he die in this? Because I was like, oh, okay, no, but he's also got blood coming out of his mouth.
Yeah.
That's a little unsure, but they can kill Brell out of nowhere.
They sure do. So he, this is the end. He dies. Freaking the match is over. Rip throws up his hand signal there. Like, yeah, and then that's it. We get the No Holds Barred song during the credits. And that's it. That is 1989's No Holds Barred. Now it's time to go around the room and share our final thoughts on this movie. Charlie?
Oh, me? Okay. I was going to say let Angela go first. I mean, she's been extremely quiet this episode for some reason.
All right, Angela, start us off.
I might be a disappointment. I haven't used this term in a while, but it was a movie.
Oh my God. Okay, fair.
I did not too much care for this. I also did not need to see a close-up of Hulk Hogan's crotch. just saying, they could have moved the camera to the other side of the table. It was during the boardroom or whatever scene where he's walking up and he's in those really tight pants and they just close up on his crotch as he's walking past. Didn't need to see that.
You got to see the mushroom imprint.
Thanks, but no thanks.
I'm also wearing the rest of the outfit. I just won't show it on here.
I'm surprised you have pants on. I'm just kidding.
I got my singlet on under this. It's fine.
Yeah, no Speedo.
Got my loincloth.
No pedos. Not tonight.
Is that it, Angela?
But yeah, I definitely would not watch this again. Sorry. Not sorry.
Nothing you said surprised me whatsoever. I know exactly what I was coming in here to, so don't even worry about it.
Oh, all right. Now your turn, Charlie.
Now my turn. It says a lot that I hadn't watched this movie in like 30 plus years, but I remembered quite a bit of it. This had a pretty big impact on me as a kid. And even though I haven't watched it, especially, like around Dustin and those guys, we quote this thing. Dustin throws up the freaking, this is not natural to do. Usually
It's
you're doing
not.
this,
That's the one he does all the time.
or this. But
yeah, this is hard.
You have to think about it.
I have to think, and it doesn't come away natural. But Dustin will sit there and do that. Everyone does the Zeus, just all this stuff. I think my nostalgia is a little bit reunited here. I enjoyed the hell out of watching it. I'm kind of hoping they do like some kind of special edition, Blu-ray or 4K of this, because hell, even the Tubi rip looked good.
Yeah,
like I was fairly impressed with.
I
how
like
well
it when
looked.
you get that grain, that you get the film grain.
You still see the grain.
Yeah, and
but
I like it. It makes me feel like I'm a kid again watching like a Seagal movie. Yeah.
But it's not as blurry as watching it on a VHS on a 19-inch television, which is what I watched this originally.
So I guess there was a Blu-ray in 2014.
So there's at least a Blu-ray.
There is a Blu-ray of this in somewhere.
Okay. Well, now I need like a boutique one. Like I need someone to like give me more special features. Somebody tie up Fuller and make him tell us the story of why he hates this movie so much. But I had an absolute blast. I am so glad I caused enough chaos in the Discord to cause this to happen tonight. I mean, you guys could have covered some kind of boring, intellectual film, or we do No Holds Barred, the very first Hulk Hogan film on the podcast.
Did you just say what? Have you listened to our show? Do you think that's what we do?
Look, man, our Alien Romulus episode, I gotta say, was really kind of mind-bending and
really
took you
was.
places,
It
made
really
you
was.
think.
Yeah.
Really made you think.
Yeah.
I can't rewrite this one at all. It's already perfect because it's every action movie I love. How can I not love this one? Yeah, this one gets huge thumbs up for me, man. I had so much fun reliving it. I literally, I was like, Jackie, get the cricket. Do we have white vinyl? I need this. And I grabbed it off of Google Images. I was like, I need this on a shirt. And I literally had her make this all up. I hand drew this. Like, that's how excited I was to do this tonight. I knew exactly how you guys were going to be. So I'm not even upset with what Parker's getting ready to say here in a minute.
All right.
So, yeah, loved it.
Well, Charlie, I think I'm going to shock you. All right.
Shock me, brother.
I had a lot of fun with this movie. This movie is so stupid. But you know what? I laughed so much watching this. I was entertained by just the absurdity that was No Holds Barred. And to be honest, I didn't hate Hulk Hogan in this movie. I thought he was like enjoyable. Like when you're the main character, you should be the most entertaining of the characters. And I liked it. There was a lot of scenes where I was like, wow, he's really not really in this movie much compared to what you were expecting. Like there was a lot of just like focusing on Zeus and focusing on Fuller and like focusing on those characters or Brel, where I feel like he was taking a backseat. So I think I liked it more because they didn't just focus on Rip. Like we got to see the world kind of build. We got to, oh no, the mustache.
Broke my mustache. I put too good a tape on this thing.
But to be honest, man, it's just a dumb action movie that just I had fun with. Like, is it good?
Awesome.
Is it good? No. Is it entertaining? Yes. Did it make me laugh? Yes. And so I give that a win. I give that a plus. Okay. Assault and Devil's
my
Island.
work here is done.
I gotta say, of the three Hulk Hogan movies I have covered between here and B Action, this is my favorite.
Fantastic.
So
I'm sure everyone's going to be ecstatic. Dustin, I did it, man. I did it. Mickey, I did it. I did the impossible. No one thought I could do it, but I did it. And I can't rip this. I promised Jackie she wouldn't spend too much work making this. I can't Hulk. I'm not built like that. Okay. Just so if anyone's expecting that to happen, but no, to win.
Censor bar.
Oh man.
Exactly.
Yeah. I give it it's definitely an entertaining movie. It's definitely one I would recommend to, even if you're not a wrestling fan. Like, I'm not a wrestling fan per se. I haven't watched wrestling in 20 plus years. Like, but it's not even the fact that it's about wrestling. They made it a wrestling movie, but it has those, like you said, it's taking pages from other action movies of the time. And you know what? As much as it may be just a rewritten script of all these other ideas, I think it comes together to be a pretty entertaining movie. And for it being Hulk Hogan's first movie, not too bad. Not too bad. I still don't like the man, but you know, we'll say this movie was fun.
And that's fun. But you kind of see why they took a shot at it. You also see why Vince was like, okay, there's something up with these movies.
Yep.
Let's just keep going with Hulk. Because I mean, Jesse had been in bit parts, and he did like the Running Man and Predator and stuff like that. So it's not like they didn't know about movies and doing it. But Hogan was bankable. And I think this movie was made for exactly the age I was when I watched it, 12 and 13-year-olds. And that's what wrestling was made for. It was made for, that demographic. And that's why it didn't do gangbusters in the theater, because you also had to get the adults to pay the money to go watch this. And that ultimately is what hurt it. But it's also why it's like cherished now. Like it doesn't have high ratings on anything, but if you talk to wrestling fans and you mention No Holds Barred, you get people like me and Dustin and Mickey and all these guys. But there's an important question here for you, Parker. You say you enjoyed this movie. Would you add it to your collection?
If I could find it cheap.
I was going to say cheap is fine. Well, yeah, cheap is fine.
I don't need the boutique label $20 version that has all the special features, because I really don't give a shit how this movie was made. Like I think it's just the movie itself it's a lot of fun. Like if I could find a DVD of this movie, I think it would be good enough. But yeah, I would add it to the collection. I think it's definitely movies that I like to add to my collection, or movies I know I can watch again and again.
Mm-hmm.
If there are movies in my collection, like if I have movies in my collection that I would only watch once, it's because I'm an idiot and I just ended up buying it and I haven't seen it yet, and who knows how it's going to end up. Or
you cold buy movies. I cold buy movies too. Yeah,
I don't do that anymore, because I don't want to spend that type of money on a movie. That's why, like, we talked about in the pre-show about Nosferatu. Like, I wanted to watch it on Peacock before eventually knowing, like, am I going to watch this movie again? If I'm not going to watch this movie again, I don't care then, but I will. So I will probably end up buying that. So yeah, if I can find this for cheap, I'll add it to the collection. I mean, absolutely.
And Angela, a question for you. What do you think Dan would have thought about this movie?
I don't know. I take back my would I ever watch it again, because I'm going to make him watch it with me.
I'm going to call that a win again here.
Yes.
Hey, I had to suffer through it. So
okay, I don't like how she praised it right there. I like the other way you said it. I don't like how you said that.
Because there were so many times where I'm thinking and almost said a couple of things out loud, and I'm like, man, I'd have loved to watch this with him, because we do MST3K style in our living room every time we watch something like this. So I probably would have enjoyed it more had he been there.
Yeah. No, it's good. This is a win all the way around, everybody. You guys want more of this, y'all need to join the Discord and just, rally behind me when they give me a chance to give them a movie. That's all you got to do. Just back me up. That's all I need. Just people backing me up in the Discord.
And you reminded me the next movie I get to pick that falls in the category, I'm picking Kickboxer, because I remember how much I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
Love it.
And you're going to watch it and be like, oh, I remember when Hogan did that. And I remember when they did that.
We have never covered a Van Damme movie. So,
I love Kickboxer and Bloodsport.
Holy shit!
I grew up watching those.
I got
wasn't supposed to, but
Steelbook. I got the Steelbook for Kickboxer.
Hell yeah!
I got the Steelbook for Street Fighter with Van Damme. Yeah, yeah.
Good
Love
stuff.
those things. Love it. Good times. Winning.
All right. Well, now it's time to go over to social media and see what you all had to say about No Holds Barred. We're going to start over on Twitter. Our first one is from our good friend Darren Lundberg over at NostalgiaCast. And back to Bluey. He says Hogan's best movie is Gremlins 2. I'll just say that. He's not
wrong.
His little cameo as himself was great.
I'm going to come up there and I'm going to take you guys out. Now get the movie back on.
Yeah, I can't do the voice all night.
No. You know what, brother? Yeah, I can't do that for a long time.
Yeah, you just can't do it. It's too late. Too late in the day.
All right. Over on Instagram, we have a few. Big Optimist 33, or patron Daniel Collins, says, I remember my mom buying me the VHS of this movie and me watching it constantly. It's my favorite Hogan movie because he is basically playing his character from WWE or F.
Yep.
Some guy, Flicks and Friends podcast, says, no way. Super stoked you're doing this movie. You can add it to the collection. Are you buying it for me, Dustin? It's the only way I'm putting it in my collection.
I'll make sure he gets it. Viper Video, set one back for us, brother.
Give me that sweet old VHS. Mouths of Madness. Just a bunch of fire emojis and rip them. Oh man. And then, Charlie's in there causing chaos. So we love chaos.
Yeah, y'all didn't get to see me try and do that. I'm over here like I can't figure it out.
The whole episode has been like, this son of a bitch, how does he do it? I don't understand.
I can get my finger down, but then like everything goes and tries to like curl at the same time.
Basically, you got to do the hang loose and then point at something.
Yeah,
and then I get the
only halfway point.
But then everything starts curling again. I was like, dang it.
Oh no, these fingers try to lift too. I don't know how. He's had to have broke his knuckles so many times that his hands just does that, because he does it so effortlessly in this movie. It's sickening, honestly. Because I have to do it this whole episode, and my fingers don't understand what my brain's telling them what to do.
We have one over on Blue Sky. It's from our good friends Dewey Podmonster, who says this movie is performing at its absolute peak. Every single moment of this movie is pure garbage, and I absolutely adore it. It's like the cinematic equivalent of a drunken Taco Bell crunch wrap at 2 a.m. I love it.
That's poetic.
That
all right.
fantastic.
I love that.
Oh my goodness. Well, that was an adventure. Thank you, Charlie, for bringing us on this adventure and finally getting me to cover a Hulk Hogan movie on this show. Like I said, Suburban Commando definitely going to be the last one. Yeah. Next week is more chaos, because next week is St. Patrick's Day weekend, which means we got to talk about that stupid little fucking leprechaun again. As next week, we're going to be joined by the one, the only official Joey C to talk about Leprechaun 3.
I'm the leprechaun.
Yes, very, very excited. You know what I'm really annoyed with, though, is that, oh shit, why am I forgetting his name? Who's the guy who plays Leprechaun?
Warwick Davis.
Warwick Davis. So he won a Lifetime Achievement Award for the BAFTAs, and doesn't make any mention of the Leprechaun franchise. And I was like, fuck you. That franchise made you, Warwick.
He does hold this franchise in high regard when he does talk about it. But,
I know.
He gets a little bit of a pass because it's BAFTA. Okay.
Yeah, no, they were like Willow, Star Wars, blah, blah, blah. I was like, where's the Leprechaun? Damn it. You got Tom Felton, who played Malfoy, up there introducing it. I was like, you didn't say fucking Leprechaun, you bastard.
They edited out of the televised part. They said it. They just edited it.
Oh man, but yeah, we're very excited. For one, this season, people are like, "Are you gonna have any more guests other than Charlie and Joey?" No, that's it, guys.
Charlie
that's
and
it.
Joey show.
Yeah,
that's all we're doing.
It's back to back to back to back. But yeah, we're very excited to talk about Leprechaun 3. I feel like it was yesterday that we talked about the second one, so to be back already, it's crazy how fast a year goes. And then after that we will be starting the Underworld series, but we had to change plans, and we're here. We talk about this movie, and everything will be back on some sort of track next week as best as it can.
Thanks, Dan. This is all possible thanks to you.
Yes. All right, Charlie, this is where you sell all the 17 shows you're on. And
all of them?
Yeah, all of them. And tell us where we could find you and all that fun stuff.
All right, you know you can find me over at the main hub for everything, which is Give Me Back My Action and Horror Movies, where me and my co-hosts Nate, Pete, and Anna, there's a foursome now. You can check us out where we alternate between action and horror movies every week, mostly like 90s, 80s. Dipping into some newer stuff here lately, so it's been a lot of fun seeing how Hollywood has fucked everything up. It feels like, but also on that same channel, you don't have to go to another one to subscribe. Once you subscribe to one, you're in the other. You get B Action, where we are putting the B back in action, where me and my co-host Dustin and the voice Mickey dig into classics like American Ninja, Fortress, Steel Frontier. If it's got steel in the title, we're eventually going to cover it. No Holds Barred was on the list with Parker's name beside it, but we were like, you know what? We're going to give that one up and we're going to do it over here. So you're welcome, Parker. We appreciate you. And like we were talking about earlier, I am on the Action Elite YouTube channel. You can just Google Action Elite or go onto their Instagram. We do the War Room, where we talk about action movies every Wednesday. We're on a break for birthday break, but we will be back in, I think it's the 5th. I think we're doing a movie called Recoil from the 90s. Don't know 100%. We'll figure it out. And you can also catch me at my buddy J-Man's channel on Sundays, where we do Days of High Adventure. We talk about just about anything that J-Man feels like talking about. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll always see the links to what I do and all the other shows that we're affiliated with. So that's kind of the best place to follow us, is over on Instagram at Give Me Back My Horror Movies, or the other channel, Give Me Back My Action Movies, or the other channel, Be Action. So we have all the channels.
All of them.
All of them.
All
we're
of them.
everywhere.
All the links to all the things he just mentioned are going to be down in the description of the video or in the show notes. So make sure you check out, just check them out, period. But if you're a big fan of action movies, horror movies, like, there is so much variety in everything that Charlie does. So, he does it with a lot of wonderful people, and all those different shows. Nate, I don't know. We're still trying to figure him out. He's been very angry lately, so we got to give him a cookie or something.
It doesn't get better.
Oh man. As for all the things we're doing, you can find us on all the social medias. We are on Instagram and Threads at Dissect That Film Pod, and everything else we're at Dissect That Film. We're on YouTube, where you can watch the video version of every episode. So we'll wave at you right now. Hello, YouTube. We also have another show. We're kind of like Give Me Back My Action Horror Movies, where we have a show that we do every other week. It's called The Monster Zone, where once a week or every episode we spin a wheel and we land on a monster movie and we talk about that monster movie. Right now we are actually doing 2 episodes a month, every other Monday. And the first one of the month is a prior recorded episode that we release exclusively to Patreon, and now we're releasing it to you all. This month is Beginning of the End, that was our Patreon episode. So the movie that we were covering, a new recording with our new co-host Mikey, is Attack of the Giant Leeches from 1959. So there we go. So yeah, it is on our Dissect That Film feed. We don't have a separate feed for that show, so make sure you check that out. It's a great show. It's hosted by Dan and Angela. And like I said, we have a new co-host on the show, which is really fun. Another monster lover. So yeah, great. Check that out. We're also on Patreon, patreon.com/Dissect That Film, where for a single $1, you can get early uncut episodes. So everything that just happened in this recording, you're going to get it all if you join over on Patreon. We apologize, but we also, this is what you signed up for. This is pure gold.
I saw everything.
And if you join at any of the tiers, including the free tier, you can get access to our Discord, which is just an absolute blast. So do that.
I'm there.
Yes. Charlie's there. He's not even a patron, but because he's been on the show so many times, he's in the Discord.
I show up.
He's
grandfathered in.
Yes, that is it. That is how it works. If you're on the show, you're in the Discord, I'm not kicking you out.
You can't get rid of me now.
I don't know if you cause too much chaos. You might get.
Might put you in timeout. I'll put you in the corner. And you have to face the corner of the wall.
You can put me in timeout. Just don't ban me. That's all.
But if you want to find all of the links to everything from all the podcast apps we're on to YouTube and all that, we even have merch, which we actually have merch over on TeePublic that has all of our new logos on it. So all the new logos you're seeing all over the place, we have shirts and all that with those logos on it. So check that out. It's on our link tree. So just go to any one of the bios of any one of our social medias, click on the link tree. It'll give you all the links to everything you need when it comes to Dissect That Film. And last but not least, it's time to thank all of our wonderful patrons. We go over to Patreon, and we want to thank Billy Joseph Jr., Andrew Schoening, Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast, Corey Morissette, Daniel Collins, the Flicks and Friends Podcast, I Can't Talk, Angela, Anna Presley, Dan of Dissect That Film, Doom Generation, Eric Stein, Jason, Robert Stewart, and Rudy5453. When you record for a long time, your mouth starts working in ways you don't want it to. So I apologize. All right. Until next time, everybody, I am Brett Parker. That is Angela of DNA Gaming. And that is Charlie of so many fucking shows. And this has been another episode of the Dissect That Film Podcast. We'll see y'all again next time. And remember, rip 'em, brother. Goodbye.
Bye.